Today I'm going to share with you a great technique you can use during discovery or product analysis workshops. This technique is called a value proposition canvas. This is really a great method to keep the discussion focused on end user needs and not to jump too quickly to technical solutions, but instead catch what is truly necessary to be delivered and what will bring a business value. And it also fits perfectly to this channel because this is Advisory Applied, a place where we discuss IT from the business value perspective. Okay, so let's discuss this technique and its potential use cases. Value proposition canvas is an analytical tool that helps structure conversation with your client or business, focusing on the business problems and business opportunities. As engineers, and trust me when I'm saying this, we often tend to discuss solutions more than the business goals. So the value proposition canvas can help you keep focused on the business objectives. The goal of the workshop is to identify business challenges and develop ideas with the business on how to address those challenges, determining the scope of solutions needed to meet the business needs. This technique is useful for both high-level view of the entire organization, sometimes business consultants are using this, or also specific areas of business processes. The smaller the area, the quicker you'll identify and have a scope concluded, or sometimes even to single applications. I use it mostly for the single applications. Also, I use this technique after identifying these big areas, tackling them one by one with a dedicated value proposition canvas meeting. And for the high-level view, I use other techniques like business model canvas or business capability mapping. I also use value proposition canvas for platform engineering initiatives. This is what I'm going to explain to you at the end of this short or a long video about value proposition canvas. Okay, to conclude such a workshop, you need 4 key elements. First, most important is time. You need almost 4 hours, although it sometimes may take longer for larger areas. Second, you need the presence of the business people or the end customer or the client on the workshop and IT people. And remember, business people, actual business people, not like business analyst or IT manager who knows what the business wants. You need actual business representatives and customers. Otherwise, you are going to play a game of telephone and you won't be able to ensure that what you develop together on the workshop will truly move the business forward and bring the value. This point is crucial. Third, you need a room with sticky notes and painted or drawn value proposition canvas template. You can do it online also. You can use Miro for that, but to be honest, I prefer to use it on site. You can download the template, the value proposition canvas, from strategizer.com. I will leave the link in the description in the end of this movie. And fourth, you need someone, facilitator, to lead the workshop with an open mind. This can be you, but if you're also an architect or project manager, product owner of the product you're going to build, I don't recommend it because you need to focus more on the content than facilitate the workshop. Okay, so time for analyze and see how this exercise looks like. Okay, so you invite the business and IT representatives in one room. You can even play this video as an introduction on what you are about to be doing. It's important that they don't sit too comfortably, because the exercise is most valuable when everyone is actively contributing to the value proposition canvas board. The exercise is conducted from top to the right and then to left. Okay, so we start by recalling which area of value delivery of the business process, or sometimes even a single system, single application, we are addressing. We also define who our customer persona is, or simply name the customer segment if that's easier. For an application, it can be, for example, user or administrator. For the business process, it can be a participant like customer in this process. Once we have this, we consider what actions this persona takes in our process. If it's, for example, a purchasing process, it will likely include actions like browsing, adding the product to the cart, proceeding to checkout, paying, and so on. Here I also usually notice which system this persona uses, if there are many systems and if we are talking about one process. For a single system, single application, it will be simpler because those will be just functionalities which this user has the access to use. Then we move to pains and gains. Pains are simply the lacks or inconveniences this persona encounters using our systems or in our process. Whatever with us, with our processes, with our systems, or because we haven't made the system yet, or we don't have it in the process, or some issues in the processes our competitors may have. For a system, for a single application, those can be things that are not in the system right now, or they are working in a very annoying way. Similarly, we treat the gains, but here we look for the added value that would distinguish the system we are going to build or the process we are going to design and then play from our competitors, or things that our clients appreciate about us in order not to ruin them in the designing of the new process, new system. And here there is a little tip. It will usually take a while for you to get through to this stage, and it's good right now to take a break. Don't be surprised also if there are more pains than gains. In my experience, people naturally notice what bothers them rather than what they appreciate. Okay, now we move to the ideas on how to address those pains and gains. Sometimes it will be almost one-to-one. For example, pain like the session logs out the user after making a payment. This will have a very simple pain reliever. Simply rephrase to something like, we can close user session only after the user closes the browser. But it won't be always that easy. For example, the pain Excel file doesn't always load correctly. This can be addressed more creatively. Consider why this Excel is even needed in the first place. Ask additional questions. Ask where the data come from. And perhaps reach to the core issue that is bothering this user or bothering this end customer. And this core issue can be that some integration is missing. So if we implement this integration, we wouldn't even require manual transferring of Excels. Be creative. And do the same things for the gains. Come up how we can help users achieve what they want. Once we have this, I usually manage some kind of voting on the highest priorities. It can be done in multiple ways. For example, removing the cards from the board until we have only 3 left. The least important sticky notes are going away. Or vote by sticking dots on the notes. Like every person can have 5 dots and they need to stick the dots to the things which they consider most important. Sometimes it can be simply a voice of the most significant stakeholder, but here I recommend caution, because the loudest person in a room doesn't always need to be the most important person in the room, not the decision maker, not the business maker. So you have to choose the method that suits your participants. And finally, for selected priorities, we think about solutions. So now engineers can have a little bit fun. For a single application, there will be new or old functionalities to be changed. For a process, perhaps even new applications, new models, new channels to reach the customer. This will depend on the scale of the area you took for the workshop. And that's it. Remember that this is just an introduction to the further analysis, but the value stream mapping exercise will help you understand the broader context on what you are about to build. Understand the priorities, understand the origins of the requirements, and also understand the relationships between stakeholders, because this can then reflect in your software architecture. Okay, so to conclude, some examples and of use cases, like real ones, from the business, from the value proposition canvas. Besides addressing new or existing business processes to look for improvements, which is natural for value proposition canvas, this method can be also used for a single application, as I mentioned. For example, when we have a legacy system and we want to move to a newer solution. And it's worth using this opportunity, this decision of the migration, not just to rewrite like old tech to a new tech by simply copy-pasting functionalities, because simple copy-pasting without further analysis won't probably solve the problem on which you decided to rewrite the application in the first place. But instead, use this opportunity of the migration, this decision of the migration, to actually improve the business and use value proposition canvas to find those improvements. I personally also use this technique in defining the scope of an internal developer platform. In this case, my business is the development and maintenance teams. And the process I examine using value proposition canvas is the software development and maintenance process. The pains reported by the teams are a good starting point for analyzing the platform functionalities which will actually fit the maturity and needs of such teams, such stream-aligned teams. And how to incorporate value proposition canvas among any other techniques, many other techniques, in order to have the final design of the internal developer platform, you will find in my course for designing and managing platforms. It's called Efficient Platform Manager. The link you will find in the description below. Well, I hope you enjoyed the value proposition canvas technique, and I hope you can't wait to use it in action and see this in practice. So good luck with your analytical workshop, and see you next time. Bye.